I want to start first by addressing the Wall Street Journal's report today that the ammunition that was used to shoot Charlie Kirk has engravings from transgender and anti-fascist ideology. An early bulletin widely distributed among law enforcement and investigators found ammunition engraved with the expressions of transgender and anti-fascist ideology inside the rifle authorities believe was used in the fatal shooting. The bulletin said an older model, a .30 caliber hunting rifle, was discovered in the woods. Now, everything I told you yesterday from the expert marksman on yesterday's podcast was exactly correct. It was, I believe, a .308, and it was a single bolt action rifle used for hunting, which we'll get to in a little bit because all the people asking on or demanding that we do gun control literally are calling for us to take away freaking hunting rifles that hold 3 or 4 bullets at best and have single bolt action, meaning you can't even. So they want to take away our hunting rifles now. I guess I'm jumping into that a little early. Fake news CNN says this. ATF bulletin says agents found engravings, interpreted it, and it's kind of the same thing, but here we go. 2 law enforcement sources told fake news CNN agents quickly ran an initial search on one of the markings, including a series of arrows, which analysts initially interpreted to be a connection to the transgender community. That's exactly right. Of course, CNN earlier in the day had a headline, Federal officials probe rifle and ammo scrawled with cultural phrases. Cultural phrases. Yes, we want to ease people into knowing this could be another transgender or Trantifa terrorist. Also, this is very interesting. And by the way, there's a lot of stuff making the rounds with a guy who is known in the Salt Lake City, I believe, area. Either Provo or Salt Lake City. I can pull it up on my Twitter feed. I'm not going to put it on the picture because I'm not going to identify somebody that might not be the killer. I'm just not going to do that. Be that idiot that does that. But there looks like there's somebody they have that literally could be out of Utah, who is a transgender Antifa type activist. It looks like that the public has already kind of figured out who this person is, but I'm not going to say their name or put their face up on there. I'll let the FBI and all those do it first. But let me also do this. That shirt that the terrorist was wearing as he was leaving, as he was coming and going, that black long-sleeve shirt with American flag, eagle, and words, land of the free, home of the brave, the Associated Press reports Joe Van Fonda, CEO of Disabled Veterans National Foundation, DVNF, said the shirt matches one of theirs. He says the shirt was mailed out to donors, never sold publicly. They're going to nail this guy, the terrorist, not this guy here. But the shirt was mailed out to donors, never sold publicly. Thousands were distributed, but only a limited run in black long sleeves since 2023. Most donors are over 60. Van Fonda, a retired Marine, emphasized they're nonpartisan. He has nothing to do with this. The point is, they may find out who bought the shirt. Maybe it's this guy's dad. He also says his group, this veteran retired Marine, his group has not been contacted by law enforcement about the case. That's in the AP. Now, a retired profiler in the FBI says this person has no prior records as his guest, and for some time has been building frustration, anger, rage, and an inability to feel that rage is addressed. So they wanted to make a very big public statement, probably has very poor self-image, wanted to do something big and feel better about themselves, don't have the skills to address these issues in a calm, rational, impersonal way or interpersonal way. Like Charlie Kirk, a calm, rational, interpersonal way. So they cannot communicate like Charlie Kirk, so they kill him. Speaking of the sick people that can't communicate like Charlie, and so they kill him, there's some real sick people. We could go down a freaking rabbit hole. All the people that said vile things today and yesterday about and are cheering about Charlie Kirk. I'll play one of them. This is UNT, University of North Texas, in Dallas-Fort Worth area where I'm at. This is in a classroom. They're apparently celebrating and showing the pictures of Charlie being assassinated and enjoying it. And this woman calls him out. This classmate calls him out.
So Charlie Kirk and David they had a debate. Charlie Kirk was like, I thought the bullshit, like, well, this is your phone. Come over here next. Make around.
Why are we cheering for someone getting shot?
They're showing it back and forth on the, so you're hearing the noise of the classroom. She's this young lady who's talking. You can hear her loudly. She's showing these people with her camera, like celebrating and showing the video and them laughing and stuff.
Like, no matter what political beliefs are, we should not be cheering that someone got shot. He has a family.
Still like that. You guys don't care what other people.
We do. I value everyone's beliefs, but we should not be cheering as a class that someone got shot. He has a family. He has a family. He has a family.
So did those little kids at church that time.
Yes, and who shot them? A transgender person.
Oh, so that's what it is.
Yes. It doesn't matter. You should not be cheering that someone got shot.
You don't want to straight white males who left every place, huh?
What do you mean?
You just pointed out the fact that they were transgender. What about straight white?
Yes. You should not be cheering that someone got shot.
Yeah.
There's some real sick people, and I don't have an explanation for them. And the only thing I could say is, I for their own sake, I hope that they literally don't understand what they're saying or mean what they're saying. If they do, they're emotionally they're mentally bankrupt, they're emotionally bankrupt, and they need to see serious counseling, because nobody should regale on the death of anybody. I will say this, I'll have a caveat. Terrorists, serial killers, really bad people, that's a different situation. Bad people meaning mass murders and terrorists. We'll just put it that way. Rejoicing in the death of a bad person like that, like that. But somebody who you disagree with, that's insane. But here's more of it, just to give you, and I'm not going to go over, and I'm not going to feign outrage. I'll let you be outraged. It's overwhelming, the rabbit hole of all these people that are saying horrible things online, but I'll just share a few. This is from the New York Post. A lot of good people died today. Charlie Kirk wasn't one of them, says a city council president in Fairview Park, Ohio. Another one said, this is a Secret Service agent named Anthony Pugh. If you are mourning this guy, delete me. He spewed hate and racism on his show. At the end of the day, you have to answer to God and speak things into existence. You can only circumvent karma. She doesn't leave, Pugh added. Anyways, the Secret Service is dealing with him, they've already said publicly, as is the U.S. Department of War and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, about this Marine Corps recruiter who says another racist man popped. I mean, that's insane. He's under investigation. He's been relieved of his recruiting duties. What does he want to recruit? People who murder conservatives? It's a sick man, and I pray that they can throw him in the brig and dishonorably discharge him. Toledo Fire Department Battalion Chief described the shooting as totally preventable and avoidable if not for the policies and beliefs of people like Kirk and his uneducated, hateful ilk. Wish the guy was a better shot, the unhinged fireman continued. Charlie Kirk offers nothing but hate and division to society. No one would miss him, and discourse will be better without him. Let's pray the Toledo Fire Department dismisses him with prejudice. A teacher at a regional high school in Massachusetts was put on paid leave after she was outed by libs of TikTok. She boasted, "We're not offering sympathy." And she made that post moments after Kirk was killed, hit in the neck by the sniper. In Florida, Lee County, it just goes on and on. Here's a few more. In Florida, Lee County School District Commissioner said that they're aware of a school district social media post, an employee's post that says, "What about the cost of the Second Amendment being some gun deaths every year by Charlie?" And the NFL's Carolina Panthers fired their team's communications director, who shared a rap group Wu-Tang Clan song "Protect Ya Neck," along with the video of Kirk captioned, "Why are y'all sad? You're mad. You're mad. Said it was worth it." I don't know. Anyways. And then one more thing from the Post, a series of all the countless, and you can see them here over and over again, countless posts on Blue Sky, which is where leftists go that are afraid to be on Twitter. And they're all vile things calling for the deaths of more people. Most of them are calling for the deaths of Ben Shapiro, J.K. Rowling, Matt Walsh, Donald Trump, libs of TikTok, Elon. Anyways, I saw yesterday, I told you, I saw like a girl dancing around in a yard celebrating it, and she's probably my daughter's age, dressed just like my daughter. I got to think for her own sake, she's just a poor fool who's pretending, just wanted to be on social media looking like everybody else and being part of the in crowd. I pray that somebody like that, my own daughter's age, literally does not understand what she's doing, because I don't think she'd be happy if somebody murdered her parents. So, I'm going to skip over Ilhan Omar. She can pound sand. I love, and I should have pulled it. I could have bleeped it or left it, what Ben Shapiro said. Ben Shapiro had a great statement, and basically he said, I'm going to pick up the torch. I'm going to be doing college tours. And he said, for those of you who, have a problem, those of you who are trying to stop us, he said, F you, said the full words. I liked it, actually. I did. I enjoyed it. So way to go on him, and I'm grateful he's going to pick up the torch and continue. You got these idiots for gun control. You got AOC. She pushes for gun control. AOC. Are we going to do something, or are we going to argue over rhetoric? That is my question about this. We have to pass gun safety legislation and stop this. It's a freaking hunting rifle, you moron. Do you want to stop people from deer hunting? Yes. Okay. Good luck. Good luck with that. And now here comes the honorable mention of a fool, a poor fool. A former Dallas Cowboy cheerleader posted, "It truly makes me sad that people who are posting about Charlie Kirk are the same people who want to uphold the Second Amendment and never post a thing when our literal children," all caps, as if our figurative children, our literal children, are being killed in schools every day by gun violence. There you go. You're a leftist using that term, gun violence. Paper violence. Paper commit crimes. Paper will kill you. My guns haven't killed anybody. And I've had them for years and years and years. Anyway, she says, no family should have to experience what this family's experiencing today. This is exactly why we need gun regulation. She wants to take away hunting rights because she's a freaking moron. She doesn't even know what she's talking about. None of the AOC. If you literally explain to them what this was, do you think they'd be saying that? For their own sake, I hope they're like, oh, okay, well, kind of crab walk away. They don't know what they're talking about. I want to tell you one of the saddest things of the day. No, the saddest thing of the day. The saddest thing of the day to me was the silence of the jet. Taxi, sitting there at the runway. And watching J.D. Vance carry the casket or put his hand on the casket. And watching the casket come back to Phoenix. Because to me, the hardest part of death and dealing with this is seeing that casket loaded onto a plane and seeing that casket being unloaded off a plane. It's over. A dead body's coming home. This animated, spirited, amazing person who did unbelievable things at such a young age and did such a movement is coming home in a casket. And his wife, I was very touched by Usha Vance holding her hand, holding her up. No kids there, no little kids there, getting off the plane on Air Force Two. That was very touching to me. I'm going to play audio. I don't know if you caught this. When they arrived at Sky Harbor Airport in Phoenix in Air Force Two, and J.D. Vance wrote a real poignant social media post about how he became friends with Charlie Kirk and how Charlie Kirk was responsible for helping encourage him to run for Senate and getting him the win of his Senate candidacy, giving him his team in Ohio, and then being instrumental in recommending him to be the vice president for Trump. But here he is as they were not taxiing on the runway, as they arrived at the Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. Here's their traffic control.
On the visual 26, South 1555 Phoenix Center, wind 2409, runway 26, good line. Clear line 26, Southwest 1565.
Welcome home, Charlie. You didn't deserve it. May God bless your family.
Let me, that was very touching and sweet. Let me play some real idiots. This is early in the week before Charlie was assassinated, a day or two perhaps before Charlie was assassinated. This is Senator Chris Murphy from Connecticut on some sort of a podcast with Chuck Todd. And just listen to his rhetoric. It's unbelievable. He's literally calling for what happened. He's literally seemingly calling for the assassination of somebody like Charlie Kirk. Listen to this. It's unreal.
We're not going to convince Donald Trump to stand down in his attempts to destroy our democracy through de-escalatory politics. Like, that's just not happening. So our only opportunity, our only chance to save our democracy is to fight fire with fire right now. So yeah, do I bemoan the fact that, we're now blowing up norms? Yes, but literally for 2 seconds, because if you spend any more than that being sorry for the fact that the old world doesn't exist, then your democracy is gone. Like, we're in a war right now to save this country, and so you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary in order to save the country.
We're in a war right now, and you have to do whatever is necessary to save the country, whatever is necessary, a la assassinating Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk literally is, according to many people, responsible for getting Trump elected. Charlie Kirk will help get J.D. Vance elected president unless he's assassinated. So literally, I'm going to rewind it a few seconds and let it finish out. But Chris Murphy got what he wanted a couple days later.
Like, we're in a war right now to save this country, and so you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary in order to save the country.
When I hear that, I wonder is there enough people that believe that same thing? And until you get more to believe that may be why the Democrats aren't growing in this.
Chuck Todd literally is like, yes, finally, somebody's calling for something like what happened to Charlie Kirk, finally. And he's like, well, are people really going to follow through with that?
Same direction, yeah.
You can't get people to believe it if you don't act like it.
Well, you said it, and they acted like it, Chris Murphy. It's disgusting. And then comes the ever super leftist woke CBS Morning News. These people are St. George Floyd, blessed be his name, who, of course, died from a drug overdose in the custody of Minneapolis police. They got these sick BLM leftists running and co-hosting, whatever, CBS Morning News. Listen to them in this conversation, an accusation attack on Republicans and blaming them for the murder of Charlie Kirk. When they're discussing this with Kevin McCarthy, the former speaker, obviously, and Republican congressman from California.
And as Tony mentioned, not everyone took to his words or his rhetoric. At times, they were offensive to specific communities. But with that said, this is not the time to focus on that. We are focused on this tragedy.
Well, but you just said it, and now you're saying, but we're not going to do that. I just did a hit now, but we're not going to do that. We're going to focus on this tragedy. So you got your attack, and now you're above the attack now that you did the attack. So I would have called that out, but if I was Kevin McCarthy, he didn't.
Speaking of this tragedy, is this a moment for your party to reflect on political violence?
Excuse me, is this a moment for my party? You just assassinated the young leader of this freaking party who could have been the president, and it's time for my party to reflect on my rhetoric? So, in other words, we did this. It was our fault. We killed Charlie Kirk with our rhetoric. This guy, boy, does this guy have it out for our side. I can't believe Kevin McCarthy acted like he did in this. He was quiet and didn't say much. Listen.
Is it a moment for us to think about the responsibility of our political leaders and their voices and what it does to the masses as they get lost in misinformation or disinformation that turns in and spills into political violence?
I say both parties. I
don't even say parties. I say a nation.
Okay.
And if there's a moment
Even
in time
better.
we want to look to, and I looked back and I watched this again when Robert F. Kennedy is running and he's in Indianapolis and he just got the news that Martin Luther King was killed. And he has to tell the crowd because we don't have social media at that time. And it was remarkable the words he said. He said, we have to ask as a nation, who are we? and how do we want to move forward? We have watched this political attack on both sides. We watched what happened in Minnesota. We watched what happened to President Trump. We've watched this on both sides. This is not a question about parties. This is a question about nations. We cannot normalize this, but Charlie was not elected. Charlie was not doing something where you would sit there and one party say something wrong. He was honoring. He was doing it on a college where ideas. This is what happened in the 60s. This is a moment in time for this nation to take this time to actually make a question about all of us.
We don't want to go back to the 60s.
We don't.
That was a more violent period than people recall.
We could. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Kevin McCarthy should have called that woke idiot out, whatever his name is, that fool. I'm gonna do something. I've got a Fort Worth City Council member who's in big trouble, and I have an illegal for something about Charlie Kirk, a Fort Worth City Council member. I'll get to in a minute. And she was rebuked by the mayor. Also, we have an illegal in Dallas beheading somebody and kicking it around like a soccer ball. A Biden illegal that could have been deported or held and deported by Joe Biden, but he let him free so he could cut his boss's head off in Dallas years later. But first, I want to tell you this. I've been mentioning a group that I help fundraise for. And it's the group that I want you to donate for North Texas Giving Day that I've already done. Mrs. Crock and I have already donated. And your donation will be doubled. And you can donate now early for North Texas Giving Day. But I'm going to tell the story real fast with a few pictures, okay? That's what I'm going to do right now because it's about sex trafficking. Over 50% of the people that Thrive Counseling ministers to, and it's a Christian ministry that does counseling. Over 50% of their clients are sex trafficking victims. And it's a huge thing in Texas. It's a huge thing in North Texas. I just saw today on Fox 4, a man was arrested for sex trafficking a 17-year-old girl. This in DFW happens all the time. Let me show you some pictures here because, this is where you can donate. Text Thrive 99 to 5355. But I want to tell the story first. Here we go. So this is what happens. The beginning of sex trafficking, the beginnings of exploitation go unseen. How could nobody notice these children being sex trafficked? They weren't being protected. They didn't feel safe. And they believed the pain was their fault. That literally is how they grow up when they're being sex trafficked by their own parents in some cases. When they grow up and they're struggling and they want to leave and they come to Thrive Counseling to get the counseling they need to break free, your donation helps these women break free. They come in angry. They're mad at the world, using drugs, and they don't want to be in this path anymore. What can I do? Your donation will help them to get out of that. And here's how bad sex trafficking is in DFW. We rank number 2 in the country in Texas. 400 children are sold for sex in Dallas tonight alone. And that's a real number. 79,000 minors and youth and victims are victims in Texas today. 79,000. It's $99 million crime in North Texas alone. They can't wait. They need safety, healing, and hope now. So those are just some statistics. And if you want to donate, this is where you can do that. Oh, let me get you the right one. You don't want me to be. You don't want me to be the guy in charge of the slideshow, okay? There we go. There you go. Do what I did. Mrs. Crock and I did. Takes you 2 seconds. Text Thrive 99 to 53555. $5, $10, $100, whatever you can do. $20. I don't care. Please do it. Text Thrive 99 to 53555. Okay. All right. Continuing on. Elizabeth Beck is a city councilwoman from Florida, and she tweeted out this, and then she deleted it, but we know what she meant. She put a post sharing a 2023 Newsweek article with Charlie Kirk, quoted as saying, gun deaths are unfortunately worth it to keep the Second Amendment rights, with the word unfortunate superimposed over his photo. So she basically says, you got what you wanted. You're dead because of the Second Amendment and your support of it. So she squirmed. Now she talks about, where she deleted it. The mayor called her out, Mayor Manny Parker. She didn't call her out by name. She said, when you take an oath of office, you have a responsibility to encourage civility, kindness, and decency. As an elected official, you and community leader were held to a higher standard. We owe it to people we represent to always be above board. Yesterday, we saw the worst. You should have called her out, Maddie, and said, Elizabeth Beck, shame on you. So Elizabeth Beck tweeted that out, blaming Charlie Kirk's Second Amendment support. So Elizabeth Beck is another one of these morons who literally is calling for hunting rifles to be banned and mocking Kirk. And I'm going to tell you right now, however the Lord takes me home is how he takes me home, and I agree with the same thing. The Second Amendment is a right that cannot be taken away from us, and it will not be taken away from us. Do you want me to take away your free speech, Elizabeth Beck? If you don't want me to touch your free speech, because that's your right, then don't touch my Second Amendment right. If you want to beclown yourself with these tweets, you go ahead. Pound sand, lady. Now, Joe Biden illegal. Joe Biden illegal did it, didn't he? Joe Biden illegal was busted for many things, and California made sure to let this guy go free. You have an illegal from Cuba who was arrested in 2017 in South Lake Tahoe, California. He had carjacking charges and false imprisonment after authorities say he tried to steal a woman's car while naked. ICE told Channel 8 WFAA TV that he had recently been in custody of ERO, Enforcement and Removal, at Blue Bonnet Detention Center in Anson, Texas, but he was released by Joe Biden in January on an order of supervision because there's no removal flights to Cuba. Joe Biden let him free so that he could come months later and slaughter his boss at a Dallas hotel, beheading him with a machete because he didn't like his boss. His boss didn't speak Spanish. So he was telling somebody that worked with this illegal, make sure you stop using that washing machine that's broken. And he told it to somebody who speaks Spanish in English, and that person, he said, translated to the illegal. The illegal was mad, and so he went and got a machete and cut his boss's head off and kicked it around like a soccer ball, picked it up and threw it in a dumpster, apparently. So Joe Biden, Democrats, making sure that illegals will be free to murder us, murder their bosses, cut their heads off. Just another day in Joe Biden's America. God bless Charlie Kirk, and God bless you, okay?